The Riddle of the Sphinx, as retold by Anthony Horowitz. What creature has 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the afternoon, and 3 legs in the evening? This is almost certainly the first riddle ever invented, and it was told by a ghastly creature outside the city of Thebes in ancient Greece. The creature was called the Sphinx, and it had the head of a woman, the body of a lion, the wings of an eagle, and the tail of a serpent. Now, there was only one road in and out of Thebes, and you couldn't get anywhere near the city without passing the Sphinx. And you couldn't pass the Sphinx, which is also very large and very fast, without being asked the riddle. One of the first people to ever come across the Sphinx was a young man named Haman, and he was on his way to Thebes to visit his uncle, who happened to be the king. Most people would have ran away from such a bizarre mix of bird, beast, snake, and woman, but coming from royal stock, he was not afraid. "Stand where you are," the creature said. "What do you want?" Haman's hand fell onto his sword. "I have a riddle for you." "A riddle?" He relaxed. "That sounds fun. What is it?" "What creature has 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the afternoon, and 3 legs in the evening?" 4 legs in the morning. It's not a dog or anything like that, is it? I did once see a goat with 3 legs, but it was dead, so I don't suppose that counts. A frog, maybe? I don't know. I give up. No sooner were those words out of his mouth than the Sphinx pounced. Its tail wrapped around his neck, its woman's head laughed insanely, and its claws tore him to shreds in seconds. The road was slippery with his blood. When the people of Thebes realized that they couldn't get anywhere near the city without passing a horrible monster, asked an impossible riddle, and being torn to shreds when they failed to get it right, they nearly had a riot. It was a terrible year for business in Thebes. The bottom fell out of the tourism industry, and although King Laius and Queen Jocasta offered a huge reward to anyone who could rid them of the Sphinx, it was never claimed. Of course, princes came from far and wide, along with warriors, to try their arm against the Sphinx. But swords and arrows were useless. Its hide was thick as iron, its claws were razor sharp, and its wings could get itself into the air in the blink of an eye. Some people tried to answer the riddle. Cats, bats, gnats, and ocelots are just a few of the answers that failed. Eventually, it got so bad that King Laius had to do something about it himself. "If only we knew why this creature was here, maybe then we could get rid of it." "Why don't you ask the oracle?" Queen Jocasta suggested. The oracle was a priestess who could not only tell the future, but who could answer any question put to her. "What an excellent idea, my dear," the king said. "I will set out at once." Now, had King Laius ever actually reached the oracle, he would have been in for a nasty shock, because the truth of the matter is, it was entirely his own fault that the Sphinx was there, even if he didn't know it. Shortly before the Sphinx arrived, he had gone to visit a friend of his, and while he was there, he took a liking to his friend's son, Crispus. He liked him so much that he forced him to come home with him and hid him among his servants. Crispus eventually killed himself, and that would have been the end of it, except the whole episode had been witnessed by Hera, the queen of the gods. It was to punish King Laius that she sent the Sphinx to Thebes. Now, along the road out of Thebes, King Laius was in his chariot when his way was blocked by a young man. The road was not wide enough for both of them to cross, and they exchanged angry words. Eventually, King Laius drove past the young man and drove over his foot. The young man, in anger, responded by throwing his spear through the king's stomach. The young man was named Oedipus. He was a rather complex character. And despite his anger, he wasn't a bad man. He genuinely wanted to be a hero, he just didn't know how to go about it. Anyway, so now he was in front of the Sphinx. "Stand where you are," it called, "and tell me, if you value your life, what creature has 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the afternoon, and 3 legs in the evening?" Oedipus thought about it, and the Sphinx licked its lips and practiced curling and uncurling its claws. But this time it was not to be so lucky. "I have it," Oedipus said. "The answer is man. For in the morning, when he is a child, he crawls on all fours. In the afternoon of his life, when he is a man, he stands up on 2 legs. And in the evening, when he is old, he walks with the aid of a stick. Hearing that its riddle had finally been answered, the Sphinx turned red with anger. Its lion's body shriveled. The feathers fell out of its wings, and its tail shriveled up. And then it leaped into the air and exploded. As for Oedipus, he was given the crown of Thebes as his reward, and he married Queen Jocasta. Little did he know that she was actually his long-lost mother, and the man he'd kill on the road was his father, but that is very definitely another story.